A specter haunts America. It is the specter of authoritarianism, the specter of a president claiming to be above the law. This is not hyperbole. The Trump administration has embarked on a dangerous path, asserting executive powers that bypass the judiciary and threaten the very fabric of American democracy. The alarm bells are ringing and we must pay attention. At the heart of this constitutional crisis lies a chilling claim that the president possesses absolute authority over immigration, even to the point of overriding judicial rulings. This assertion strikes at the core of the American system of checks and balances, a system meticulously designed by the Founding Fathers to prevent tyranny. The implications are staggering, for if the president can ignore court orders on immigration, what is to stop him from doing so in other areas? The rule of law is not a menu from which presidents can pick and choose, it is the bedrock upon which our nation is built. When a president, any president, places himself above the law, he ceases to be a president and becomes a ruler. This is the very definition of tyranny, and it must be resisted with all our might. The situation is dire, and the time to act is now. The future of American democracy hangs in the balance. We must not allow the erosion of our institutions to continue unchecked. We must hold our leaders accountable to the Constitution and defend the principles upon which this nation was founded.
The Trump administration's legal arguments are as audacious as they are alarming. They rest heavily on a broad interpretation of the Alien Enemies Act, a law dating back to 1798. This act, passed during a time of war hysteria, grants the president sweeping powers to detain and deport non-citizens deemed enemy combatants. This law, even in its original context, was a dangerous precedent, one that has been invoked throughout American history to justify the curtailment of civil liberties during times of crisis. To use this law as justification for overriding judicial rulings in the 21st century is to open a Pandora's box of authoritarian possibilities. It would effectively grant the president unchecked power over the lives of millions of immigrants, many of whom have built lives and families in the United States. This is not about national security, it is about power. It is about an administration seeking to consolidate its authority by exploiting fear and prejudice. We must not allow this to stand. The stakes are simply too high.
The very notion that the president can unilaterally override judicial rulings strikes at the heart of one of the most fundamental principles of American governance, judicial review. This principle, enshrined in the landmark case of Marbury v. Madison in 1803, establishes the power of the judiciary to review laws and executive actions to ensure their constitutionality. Marbury v. Madison was not merely a legal case, it was a defining moment in American history. It established the judiciary as an equal branch of government, one with the power to check the excesses of both the executive and legislative branches. This balance of power, carefully crafted by the Founding Fathers, is essential to the functioning of a healthy democracy. To suggest that the president can simply disregard judicial rulings is to unravel the very fabric of this system. It is to say that the president is above the law, a claim that should send chills down the spine of every American who values freedom and the rule of law. The judiciary has not remained silent in the face of these challenges. Judges across the country, many appointed by Trump himself, have ruled against the administration's immigration policies, finding them to be in violation of the Constitution and federal law. Yet the administration continues to push forward, testing the boundaries of executive power and threatening a full-blown constitutional crisis.
The Trump administration's disregard for judicial authority is not merely theoretical, it is playing out in real time, with devastating consequences for individuals and families. Take, for instance, the case of Venezuelan migrants seeking asylum in the United States. Despite a federal judge's order temporarily halting their deportations, the administration continued to expel these vulnerable individuals, defying a direct court order. This act of defiance is not an isolated incident. It is part of a pattern of behavior that demonstrates a blatant disregard for the rule of law. The administration has repeatedly ignored court orders related to its immigration policies, from the Muslim travel ban to the separation of families at the border. Each instance of defiance erodes the legitimacy of the judiciary and chips away at the foundation of American democracy. It sends a dangerous message to the world that in the United States, the rule of law is negotiable, a matter of convenience rather than principle.